wakes up Friday, he's fine. Not sore, a little bruised, but he's fine. The car did exactly what it was supposed to do. Curtain airbags came down, and so it did what it was supposed to do. But he was just sore, but nothing. I wouldn't have been able to breathe for a week. He just climbed out of the window. I'm good. I was actually upstairs looking at sheetrock in my new building when I heard the police cars come zooming by, and about that time I got a phone call from my wife saying she got a phone call from my son. I was like, okay, I'll be there as soon as I get there.
Scary.
Yes, it is. It wasn't scary at the time. I was fairly calm at the time. I was calm at the emergency. We took him to the ER, got checked out. I was calm at the. It was later on that night. It was a couple hours later.
So-
It was like,
We just asked you all the questions we were gonna ask Ron,
No, I'm not your girl for that.
because I got
yeah,
I got my pad
about
due
10
with me
o'clock
tonight,
at
I've been
night,
making
I
notes.
literally was just, I didn't go to bed like 2 o'clock at night. I literally was shaking.
I'm gonna get there.
Just how nervous it made me. Had to go back outside and had to buy a tarp to put over the car because I didn't want it to get damaged any further.
That's what she said, wasn't feeling well.
State Farm moved fast, though. They had some out that happened Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock. And they had some Copart were taking the car Monday. Like, I'm put it on the rollback Monday. Hey, dude.
Oh, you made it.
37, 28, 27.
Sliding,
everyone.
sliding in.
It was like PT back in the Marine Corps day. You sliding in just in time. So.
Hey, I know I can go this way and that way and beat that light. But 61 is just all but shut down right there at Bay Springs.
Is
I don't
that
know,
it?
I don't know what's going on.
Oh.
I went around.
Can't, can't be the weather yet, I wouldn't think. You never know. Yeah, it came in. Okay, 6 o'clock, so I will call this meeting to order. We have a quorum, we have everybody, so everybody were on. Call the meeting to order, and first item is to adopt the agenda. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay. Old business, the minutes of the meeting. You've had a chance to review the minutes, and any correction or changes. You had a change, but I think that's been corrected.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. What's the position of the commission?
Move we adopt the minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous. All right, new business. Tracy, I guess that's going to be you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. On our new business, we've got a couple items. A will be in Section 903 of the zoning ordinance. We've got several changes that we're making. Section C or 2C, we're taking out garage doors and just going with the service doors, loading doors, and similar entrances oriented to the street and the road. And the reason that we're doing this because we're going to address it in a different section further down into the thing that we'll get to in just a second. But what we're really looking here for is like your utility room doors or going into a mechanical room and all this. We do not want that on the front of any townhome unit or multifamily entrance. So the next thing that we want to go to, and then I'll answer any questions that you have that I can for Ron, but will be in Section 4 of 903.4, vehicular and pedestrian circulation. We want to add Section F which we're only went to E before, and we're wanting to add in that the driveways for the townhome units would be at least 35 feet if they have a sidewalk and 40 feet if they do not. And that's from the edge of the pavement. So we're getting more setback or addressing the setback issues for these townhomes in that section. And then in section 6 of it, we're...
Wait, can we
Yes,
ask
I'm
as you go
sorry.
along? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, is that, actually, when you mean from the edge of the pavement, you're talking about the back of the curb, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I would recommend you make that slight modification there, because it's different,
It is. Yes, sir.
back of the curb.
All right.
And then going back to the other page under 2A,
Just people to park.
2, not A, but
Not in the garage.
C, 2C.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Is that what we really
No
want?
primary or accessory building shall have, service doors, loading doors, similar, entrances, opening toward or oriented to a public or private street. Well, what's left? If they can't
Would,
open or be oriented toward a public or private street, how do they, how do you get in and out?
well, that's what we're talking about, moving garage doors into the next section of this and addressing garage doors. What they wanted to do is make this where it talks about doors that go into mechanical rooms and utility rooms, and also in the
Yeah.
side or the back entrance to these doors, or to these rooms.
Well, so there is another place in here
Right, so,
that deals with, so taking the garage doors out here means you can deal with it later on.
right, so garage
Okay.
doors, if we skip down to 8G, we'll go to F there. We're adding F to that, and it says all townhomes shall have a minimum 2-car garage. And then G says townhome developments are encouraged to have rear-facing garage doors whenever possible. Street-facing garage doors should not constitute more than 70% of the front facade of the ground floor living area. So what they're doing is going away from the mandatory rear entry garage door. And
Any
then they're-
reason why, other than developers asking for it because it's cheaper to build?
There's several reasons. So most of these developments are having to get variances to do that. And what we wanted to do is to make them do a wider townhome from 24 foot to 26 foot. Therefore, it would not be ate up with a big, just a garage door in the front of the townhomes. So this was kind of the, I guess, the compromise of going ahead and allowing a front entry garage and just making them do a wider townhome. But that's, so we've not had one townhome development that's come in that has not requested the variances, I guess, to get out of rear load. And when we,
Then the question is, do
Right,
we,
yeah.
do we really want them?
do we really want them?
Do we really want, I mean, if they have to continue to ask for variance, do we really want them? If they can't play by the rules that we set, do we
Right.
really want
I
them?
think it's staff's, by going over this and talking with the staff and with everybody involved and looking at other projects that have rear load, so we lose all yard space in the back on rear load. There's no yard, you got an alleyway that always ends up cracked, broken, not enough room because the narrow alleyways and garbage cans back there. It does not make a good looking development where we could have a wider product with front entry that has yards and the backyards for the kids to play, all these things. So taking all that into consideration this is why we're moving to
Or
that.
we could have 2 cars parked in the front yard, one that runs and one that doesn't, because it's gonna be wide enough for 2 of them now.
Well, yeah.
I mean, so, I mean, that's also a possibility. I know the idealistic
Right.
idea is that, yeah, we
And
could
I-
have, but,
yeah.
I mean, realistically, we have a broke down Impala and
Right.
another one beside it and a bunch of junk in the garage. I
Right.
mean, that's also a possibility.
Oh, there's always a possibility, that's true. Yep.
Well, this has come under quite a bit of discussion at the council
It is.
meetings on, excuse me, on the variances that have
I don't
been
mind that.
presented. So,
Right, so, I'm trying to think how many variances that we've had over the last few months since I've been in this department on these deals. It's just,
seemed like at least every council meeting.
yeah, right, yep. So this is kind of looking at it a different way to get a better product, making them build a bigger townhome, a wider townhome, and getting away from the one-car garage, going to the two-car garage where we don't have cars parked in the street all the time or in the front yard and these things, making them have the wider driveway up to 16 feet, or a minimum of 16 feet.
You know, I've seen, in North Atlanta especially, Ross, there's a development that comes to mind, and speaking to your point of what happens to that alleyway back there, well, you get no yard.
Right.
They end up asphalting from building to building.
Right.
And not only that, but unless there's a cantilever deck or porch system in place, you've got the post coming down in the asphalt, which in the rear, it is in the rear, nobody sees it, but for functional, I'm kind of torn on this. I really like a rear entry
From the
garage.
front, it's great, yes, it looks, yes.
But your usable space in the back, like you're saying, you don't get a yard. You do end up with maintenance issues. Not
Right.
only do you have the trash cans, possibly deck posts, and the cars that don't run, okay, back there, you end up with a whole lot, anything else that somebody can put
It's
on
a
the
catch-all,
asphalt or
yeah.
squeeze. Yeah, it's a catch-all.
Yeah.
Great way to put that. So I'm kind of, I really like the width of the buildings increasing. I like the double car garage. That keeps us away from the
Right.
single car development, which, it gives that appearance of a cheaper type of property. But that's my 2 cents on, if you keep them all in the back, you got more than just the garage doors going back there.
It's a logistic nightmare for the garbage trucks and all, because everybody's always parked in the alleyway and they can't get down. I mean, there's a lot of problems from a developmental standpoint, but we threw in some other items that I think is going to help, as far as no inset front entries, right, and then a point system to get for the front facade, at least have a 4-foot porch, or some of these other details that's going to kind of address making a better looking end product for the city.
Well, but looking at this picture for the SFS, where those are front door entrances, that's really not a very attractive.
Inside is-
Yeah, that's on the,
I mean, that's basically what we're talking about here.
right, so we're addressing also the amount of, so right here you got these on this SFA. On the old picture, this is the old, what we're trying to get away from is you got units here that are about 20 foot wide that's showing in this picture. And then when we go to a 26 foot wide, it's not all gonna be garage door in the front, right? So we got 16 foot of garage door and then at least 10 foot of porch and front facade. So that's one of the things that we're wanting to get away from on this.
But again, you're gonna have garbage cans out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for what it's worth, this is actually, I've been in these townhomes.
Mhm.
They're actually really nice finishes.
Oh, yeah.
These are really nice. I've been
They
in
are.
quite a few of them on this trip.
The photo here on the back page, the bottom photo,
Mm-hmm.
that only shows front door and garage doors and nothing else.
Oh, I know.
It's just, it's a concrete front entryway and front yard, and you know, just like we were saying, there's no place for children to play,
There's not.
no place to, well, so while I'm on that, let me go on a quick tangent. Where are we with a limit on number of investor-owned townhouses? You know, there's one of the new things, and one of the things that's affected us here, actually, has been new home construction, either attached or detached or semi-detached, and not a single one being owner-occupied. There are right from the start, there are investors buying up practically whole developments and turning around and renting them out.
Yep. And it's not just here, it's all around.
Oh, no,
Metro.
but there are municipalities who are taking steps to limit that.
Right.
Are we doing that?
I'll defer to our council on this one.
I know Carroll County is working on an ordinance, so David Beckman would be familiar with that. It's called horizontal, there's a term for what you're talking about, where developer buys a whole subdivision. It basically creates an apartment complex.
Right.
But so right now, the answer is no, we don't have anything to prohibit that.
We don't, but them are discussions that we've had with Tom and staff and David. We're wanting to go that way too, because it ruins neighborhoods, cities, the whole nine.
If you would pass on to them, my strong suggestion
Yes,
is
I
that we
agree.
move that along expeditiously.
Right, yes, sir,
I'd love to see that.
West Georgia are going that direction.
yeah.
Sir?
I think the cities in West Georgia are going that direction.
Good.
But it's a little late for us. We've got, what, 5,000 units that we've already basically approved that fall into that category.
The, trying to think of the name of the project, on 78, the townhomes that just got approved,
Rockhaven.
not the Rockhaven ones, the, what is the name of that? Starlight, right.
Oh.
So they signed that they would be sold, not rented, right? Rental units on that. So there is a way that if we can get the developers to do some trade-off agreements, but that doesn't prohibit anybody that buys them later to sell them, right?
Oh, yeah, no.
But, I mean, just on the front end, like if a LGI or whoever, I'll just throw them out as a name, comes in and develops a whole subdivision and they just sell every one to an investor out of California or wherever.
Or New York or
Right,
someplace,
we're
yeah.
gonna have to have that put in our ordinances and all
And
that.
wouldn't a HOA help with some of that too? Could an HOA create a percentage?
It
that
would,
No more than X number of percentage, 12%, 14%, 18%, whatever.
right.
I mean, HOA could help, but I think as a city, we definitely should look at that, that we create some sort of, and I don't know if it's an ordinance, Kevin, if that's the right term for that, or what we want to call it, we should create some sort of, mandate that you will agree that this development will remain. Now, granted, people can sell the property whoever they want to, but if it's within a certain development, the city has allowed it to exist and be created and be zoned, it has to remain, fee simple absolute with the current resident. I don't think, I don't know if it's 18%, I don't know if it's 20%, I don't know what the national average is, but. I think
Well,
there
we
might be
tried
something out
that
there.
in Mirror Lake with the HOA
Yeah.
and couldn't even get enough votes to approve it. So,
Yeah.
the HOA is not the answer.
Yeah.
And we did, I can think of a couple of times, at least one that where, and it's been discussed at least more than once, but I know that we have at least requested that be added to preliminary plats that we've seen on this commission. Now, what happens when it gets to council, or what the legal ramifications are by property owner rights,
Right.
that's beyond this commission, but at least we
We don't get to look at preliminary plats any longer. That's been taken from us.
Well, that's right, that's the power that we have.
We don't get to look at that any longer.
Well, if you would,
I feel a stoning coming on.
So, yeah.
if this,
Cover.
as this moves on up to council and for other action, please pass on our sentiments that
Oh, absolutely. I'm 100% agree with all that.
Okay.
Yes, I know.
Good.
Commissioner Flowers, it's not something that, it is happening. It might not have happened here where a developer is sold to the whole, they have been buying legs, I know, over there in Augusta Woods.
Augusta Woods, that whole
They-
final
They
phase.
bought, and if you follow the money, this is not money in the United States. This is foreign money. I don't know if it's off of hedge funds or whatever, but these, the United States is one of the only countries in the world that I know of that allows a foreign entity, not a national, but an entity to purchase real estate.
There's
So
a group
that's
out-
something that we got to
yeah.
really watch out for.
There's
Well, in my driving around, I have several times in the last 6 months stopped at a new construction, a new development where construction was going on, and found somebody, a foreman or somebody to talk to. And I'll tell you, there's a significant amount of investor-owned properties right from the get-go. Brand new construction, and that's their intent, is to sell it to non-occupant owners who turn around and use it for investment property. And in my opinion, it's not good for the city. It's not good for city property values. It's not good for fire and police. We certainly wind up lacking some things in pride of ownership and, citizenship. And
Civic interest.
I think we need to do as much as we can
I agree.
to discourage these total 100% investment type rental properties.
Right, I agree. Yes,
But the
sir.
question is, how do you do that
Well,
at this stage?
this,
Because we've
this-
already
that's
approved.
the reason we have these high-paid attorneys.
They're gonna figure it out for us, yeah.
There are people who are doing it. All they have to do is copy some of the ones that are going on now.
Well, but again, my point is, we've already approved 5,000 units.
I know. Can we do a slipsies? Whoopsie?
It's possible, right? So until they've recorded their plat, there's nothing in concrete yet anyway. So till we get to that prelim plat section.
Yeah.
So we still, even though we got 5,000 in the hopper, we don't have that many that's already made it to that final, we've signed off on the prelim plat. So we got a little leverage. So.
And while we're on the subject, if I may get on my soapbox for a minute, is these types of development that move to rentals. So historically in our country, the middle class builds their wealth through their home ownership, through time value of their asset, through their equity.
Right.
And what is effectively happening right now with these rental corporations and the rental market being what it is, and buying out subdivisions, legs of subdivisions, or selling, we're basically devaluing the American dream, in my opinion, by doing that, because we are taking away that opportunity for our middle class.
Right. I agree.
Well, recently we had a shooting here in Carroll County, had a murder in Villarica at Hampton Court. And I sent a snapshot of that to Mr. Johnson, Ronald Johnson, and to Tom Barber, and I emailed it to him. And I got email back from Mr. Johnson, well, what can the city do? Well, these are some of the things we talk about. See, I lived here when Hampton Court was new, and it was a townhome development. Much the same way we read about the townhomes today.
Right.
And point I'm making is this. I'm not saying these townhomes are going to be crime-ridden areas. I'm not saying that. But I know that is at least the third or fourth shooting we've had in the last year in that neighborhood. And in my line of work, I tend to know these things, and I talk to law enforcement, and they'll tell you the areas they respond to mostly. The more densely populated, the more likely to have more crime because there's more people. But point being is that we have to have enough foresight sitting here today to look and see, not in 2023, not in 2024, not in 2025, but in 2040 and 2042, what is it going to look like? What are we going to have? Is it going to be good for the people that are here now are gonna be good for the people that may come. What are we saying yes to? And that's a prime example for something that was said yes to.
Yeah.
And that at one time, somebody stood at a table, much like is in here, and then
Right.
pitched it to a city council member, and pitched it to a mayor, and pitched it to a planning and zoning committee, and somebody said yes. And I'm not blaming those people that voted yes on it. I'm not blaming the people who pitched it. But the point is, we just have to be very careful, and we have to be very, very insightful and foresightful about what's to come and what it is that we're allowing to happen. And that is the reason that, because I remember when that was the new development. I remember when that was the new townhome. That was the new place. And you know, it's not a shiny penny anymore.
Right.
And nobody wants necessarily to be there. And so that's some of the things I've voted against through the years being on here is for that reason. It's just I've seen what happens. I've seen what becomes of things.
Right.
And I don't want that to happen more often than is absolutely necessary. And
And what, to address that, that's to me the great thing about a planning zoning commission, right? You got hometown people that are looking out for the interests in the long run too, right? Not just what's gonna, we get a new restaurant or this or that, right? What's gonna benefit the whole community over the long haul? And so I really appreciate all the effort that you put into it.
Well, yeah, we make we have these discussions.
Right.
And we may disapprove this, but it doesn't matter,
Right.
because next council meeting, it's gonna go there. They don't even recognize planning and zoning. They don't discuss what happened at the P and Z
Right.
meeting. They don't present what the vote was at P and Z. So we're really a useless commission in reality.
Yeah,
Because
I'll-
planning and zoning, we can do all of this great stuff, but it's up to the council.
Maybe
I would agree with that. I'd love to see you guys, I'd love to see staff present a synopsis of our remarks and our feelings about issues like this
Yes, sir.
when it comes up at the council.
Yep.
Well, we've
I'll-
asked for that in the past, and
Oh,
it
yeah,
just
we
doesn't
have.
happen.
Like every meeting?
Yeah,
we try not to, I've attended city council meetings, and I try not to go up there and regurgitate what I've
Right.
said here, because I feel like that's for the public. It's public comments. I feel like it's more for the public, and I don't want to take time from the public and extend the meeting. So I try not to do that when I do attend the meetings, when there are issues that, I have come through here for that reason. I try to be
Well-
respectful to their time.
again, the only time you would speak would be at public hearing. But what I'm asking is that Ron or Tracy or whoever
Right.
presenting that gives,
Gives a little more explanation,
Yeah.
except just the planning commission voted to deny that. But kind of put the words, the reasoning, the long-term effects, more to the meat of what we've talked about.
but unfortunately, they don't even present anything. They don't even mention planning and zoning.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm new in this, and we can change that.
well, we'd appreciate that.
We're gonna hold you to that.
I know. I don't want to stand up here and get stoned. So.
Now, is this an item that requires a public hearing? I don't think so.
It's text
I would
change.
open it up. I would open it up.
Okay. Well, at this time then, let me ask if anybody would like to comment in favor or against this proposal. I guess not. Okay, so we'll close the public hearing. All right, what's the commission's favor?
I guess we got to vote on them individually, don't we?
Well, we have to vote
Commissioner
on,
Flowers, were you recommending an amendment to some language?
yes.
Yeah, but now you're gonna maybe go back and dig that out, huh?
Well, it was on item F, it was adding a statement to the back of the curb too.
Well, I think we can vote on the first one, Kevin. I think on section A, all we're doing is taking out the word city road and garage doors.
Yeah,
Well, do we vote on these individually, or as a whole.
We're gonna, in A also is the addition to, in section 4, the driveway depth, and in section 6, we're adding on,
Okay,
these under entries. So all that's part of A, and then
Okay.
the B is just the table, adjustment on the table.
All right, well, let's do,
okay.
Yes, yeah, we'll change. try to
let's just
change
do,
that wording.
do A and then
Curve.
come back and do B. Can we do that?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Mr. Flowers, I think you owned 4F, you wanted to put from curb, is that correct?
from the back of the curb.
From back, okay,
That was on F, yes.
okay,
So take out edge of pavement and we're gonna put it from the back of the
Mhm.
curb.
okay.
And that was the only change, I believe. So if we approve this, we're approving front door garages, is that correct?
Yes, sir. We highly recommend rear entry, but it is allowable to do front entry drive. Yes, sir.
Commissioners?
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
What would be, if I came to you for a variance, and I asked you, you know, I've got this development planned, and I've got this town plan, but I want front entry garages versus rear entry garages. What would be the checklist I would have to hit to have those variances?
Well, it's supposed to be a hardship, right?
Okay,
So,
what would then qualify as a hardship?
topo,
Okay,
rock, or, stone.
I got you.
These types right there, right?
Okay.
That's your basic flags that throw up.
okay, I get topography, because if you got a hill on the front or back, but rock, you're gonna be probably on the front or the back, you're not blasting down either way, you're gonna have to put the garage on the front or the back, I don't understand why
Let me
rock would
ref-
make a difference.
Let me reframe that a little bit.
Okay.
So if they're losing a lot of their developed land because it's so much rock, they cannot build homes,
Okay,
then they're saying what we're gonna lose in doing rear entry does not.
is there a percentage? Do they have to say, I got 18% rock on my property, 22% rock?
There's
What's the
nothing in
takeoff?
play right now.
Okay.
And wetlands could also be
Yes.
a
Yeah.
consideration as well, right?
Creek,
Right.
creek
Yeah.
abatements as well?
Supposed to be a natural hardship, right? Not a financial,
Okay.
but a natural, yes.
But then I go back to that, shouldn't they done better research when they bought the property? If there's water on it, there's
always
mud on it,
does,
there's rock
yeah.
on it, shouldn't they have done soil testing before they bought the property and paid for it?
It is good to do your due
Amen.
diligence, yes, sir.
I mean, how
Change them.
does a professional developer buy property and not know
But you got
there's
rock.
too much rock under it for him to develop
Right.
it?
I understand.
That's kind of falls on them. I mean, if you buy it, it's on you.
And I don't disagree with either of you gentlemen, but I will say that, well, at what point are we overstepping onto property owners' rights? I mean, if they buy a piece of property that is zoned for specific development and they encounter hardships, whether it be during due diligence or after they close, I mean, here we are. They're gonna need some relief here and there from time to time to, make their project viable.
Well, that's what a variance allows.
Understood?
So we can designate you as the shoulder to cry on? If,
I said I didn't disagree with you, one of you said, but.
Well, is there a motion to approve or disapprove this item, section
So
9.03?
how can we frame the motion with the edit from Commissioner Flowers?
Well,
You can move to approve it with amendments.
Right.
Huh. Can I say approve it as discussed, with changes as discussed?
You can move to approve it with the amendments that you discussed.
Yeah. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I hereby move to approve it with the amendments as put forward, and I trust them to have it all down.
well, it was only the one.
Yeah,
And I made notes that I'll get to.
good.
Come back on.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Opposed? Matt?
I'm not opposed, I just don't like bending over to them.
Shirley, how did you vote?
She voted for it, you voted for it? Yeah.
So I think it was 3-2, the amendment was approved. And goes to council.
Excuse me.
And then B is just on the table, going from 24 foot to 26 foot wide on the SFA.
That's the only change on the,
Yes, sir.
on the table.
Yes, sir.
Family attached.
Any discussion? Commissioners?
Just, I guess the question is just, is that to account for the 70% that the door can be no, or the garage don't be no more than 70%?
Right, yes, sir.
Is that
And
to
it's kind
account
of
for
the,
it?
what we're trying to get is a bigger, wider product that has a better looking front facade.
Now that I can live with.
May I have a motion to approve or deny?
Yeah,
This
so,
change?
so moved, yeah, moved to, adopt, as discussed.
Table 4? Second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous.
I'm good with that one.
All right. Staff comments. Anything else to add? Tracy?
I'd just like to update you on some of the projects that we've seen come in and what's starting to move forward, if you'd like.
Yes.
So, South Harbor 2A, which is in Mirror Lake, Heatherland Homes will be building that. They got all their approvals through the state. Most of the infrastructure was already in before the crash in '08, so they're ready to start pulling permits on that, which is your larger size homes in Mirror Lake. Flex TC has submitted civil plans and concepts. So they're at 101 H.G. Williams Industrial, the last lot in the industrial park in H.G. Williams. They're a company that builds, well, they really don't build, but they put together. They go all over the world, field hospitals, just any temporary building. It's a really neat concept, but any military bases in Afghanistan. So if you need something built quick, they load them up on C5s and they take them all over the world. They're currently in Austell. They've bought that last lot, or they're fixing to close on that last lot. They've got, and I've only got their concepts, and I've got a copy if y'all want to just pass it down and look at it. It's a pretty neat little structure. If I can find it.
Well, can I add some stuff to that?
Pardon me?
Can I add a few things to that?
Yes, sir. And I've got more stuff too on the list.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for us to get them to move their headquarters to Villa Rica
Oh, yes.
and have all of their manufacturing, assembly, and things done here, and to have warehousing. And they, like he said, they ship all over the world. They build these things in tons of places. I think their original plan is to employ another, I hate to say a number, do you remember the number they were going to bring in?
It's pretty substantial. I mean, that's not huge because most of their people are on logistics, right, setting up. But I think you're looking at 38 people there all the time. Their offices, which they've got a conceptual on, is cutting edge new stuff that is pretty neat. We took a tour there about a month ago, and we told them that we wanted some concepts and to step it up a little bit, and I think what they're presenting there is pretty pretty good stuff. But
Now, where are they in the process?
they've just turned in their civils, so engineering's looking over that, and then they sent Ron and I the concepts today.
And they bought a piece of property, or in the process of buying a piece of property from the Development Authority.
Now, you mentioned a development in Mirror Lake. Is that in a final plat?
So yes. So there,
Good deal.
we've already did the prelim plat on that one. That was, like I said, that was a phase that was already the roads were in, the sewer water was already in before the downfall. And so basically they're just buying that section out. But they still had to get everything submitted back through the state, where they could get their LDPs and their stuff. So, but that should start within 2 or 3 weeks, I would think, as far as taking down some trees and some logs. So, and Heatherland Homes builds a nice product. They're the ones that's building the lots in Mirror Lake, the little outlots, and so they're building a good product. We've took tours of them, and building departments really says they're doing a good job. So excited about that. In the overlook section, they've got 2 on the lake, 1 at Lake Point and 1 in Overlook Circle there, then 2 on Fairways 7 that they've already got going. That their product's looking pretty good. So we're excited about that. Larry Boggs is proposing 2 commercial buildings on West Bank Highway, total up to about 1 million square feet, I think, close to it. One's about 736,000 and one's 236, but he'd have to go through rezoning. It's not zoned for that.
We're out on West Bank here.
So right there where Martin's is, right in behind there, that property he owns right there.
On the other side of Tommy, on the old greenhouse, the White House, or behind John Deere back there? Behind that.
Behind John Deere, kind of more west too, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's just a proposal. It's not even went to a pre-submittal meeting yet, but I know he's bringing that in probably next week. We met with the Fuquay development team last week, talked about their townhome proposals and the variances they're going to need. So they're working through all these different things, getting ready to go on that. The apartments on Cleghorn, at the end of Anderson, where Cleghorn is, where our main lift station is, they're grading in there on them apartments. Rockhaven got their variances approved at the last council meeting for Pembridge Place, and they have submitted all their stuff for they're coming to do a pre-submittal meeting. So it'll probably be next week also. Inline, which is going to be right in behind the hospital up from Fuquay's development, send in their concepts, and I will bring you, once they finalize them, a copy of them. It's a good looking product. It's 55 and older community with single floor. Everything's single floor on their homes and their townhomes. When they've got I think it's it's like a 28-foot wide townhome, so it's a good product. The concepts, the pre-concepts look
What
pretty
street
good.
will that face on that one, you remember?
That is
It's Old Town
Old
Road?
Town Road. Yeah, I believe that's how they're coming in there.
Okay.
So they're working out logistics on that with sewer. That's all going to have to go to the West Plant, and we've got a lot of infrastructure stuff there to work out. Avamore, of course, they done some clearing, but that's kind of where they're at now. Charleston Place is working on the development, and Twin Oaks 2 still has some hurdles to get over with their lift station and sewer capacity on that second phase there. But that's all that we've got in lately, and I'll try to keep you guys updated better on everything that we've got going forward. And we're going to have a serious talk about making sure that council hears your input on these situations.
I assume that our invitation that we had requested to have a member
Yes, sir.
present on the Technical Advisory Committee is dead.
Yes, as far as I know, yes, sir. Yep.
Unfortunate.
Yes, sir.
Again, trying to make better use of planning and zoning, and we get cut off.
Yes, sir. Yep, and that, yes, sir. I understand, and I will relay that to the powers to be.
For
too.
what it's worth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that a legal opinion that David made, or?
I don't know. I really don't.
Well, I think the
Because we've
word
been
that we
told
got
that.
was that Mr. Mecklin said, no, couldn't have any of us there. And I just wondered why not, and what was it that we weren't supposed to be involved in on that? But, yeah, you know, it's,
Yeah.
you would think that as the,
I'm happy to ask and report back next week.
Okay.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I don't know that answer.
Well, particularly
either.
when other communities do have such representation. I don't understand.
Right, so what we have at the Technical Advisory Committee, which we have water and sewer, engineering, building department, fire marshal, Main Street, so when they come in with their proposals and whatnot, we can kind of give them that, well, we have 14 days to give them, like, are you going to have sewer capacity? What the fire marshal wants on his apparatus and all these different things. But basically that's it. I mean, sometimes we might see a concept or whatnot, but mostly it's on the front end, civil end of things as far as
But
development.
again, it would be nice if we had some
Yes, sir.
advance notice of what's coming and
Yes,
so
sir.
forth.
Yes, sir.
So, I would be remiss if I didn't recognize that the city did recognize volunteers
Yes,
a week ago, and Planning and Zoning Volunteer of the Year was Mr. Thomas Flowers.
Let's give him all a hand. He wasn't at the meeting.
well, I apologize, I've had some help.
Yeah, I know, you did.
And, but I was very pleasantly surprised and very grateful.
I'll talk about what I said, and I kind of said it to everybody here, but to me, when somebody takes their time and leaves their family and their business and all this to volunteer to come and do for the overall benefit of the community, to me is just a great thing, and it's awesome. And for me, it's a privilege to be able to stumble my way through this. I'm not like Ron, right? But it is an honor for me to, and I'm glad you do all the hard work that you do.
And the pay is so great.
I know, right? Yeah, it's big. Yeah.
And I'd like to recognize
Yeah.
Sarah for being present tonight. We appreciate your coming and
She knew
taking
I was
notes,
gonna
I hope.
stumble hard and wanted to see it, I think. Yeah,
Her presence always brightens up.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
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 Yeah, yes, there should be some kind of award for that too, right now, that's the truth. But we really appreciate it, and I know we've had technical difficulties. These screens will not come on, and we need a new system, so we're pushing hard to make this work better.
Yeah, that was very disappointing at the last council.
Oh, I know, and I apologize. I wished I had some tech background, but I don't.
Well, Tracy, thank you for your acknowledgement, and thank you for everything
Well,
that you do.
we appreciate everything.
And it's up here for you, don't forget that one.
Well, if
Thank
there
you.
are no further comments, I'll ask if there are any, again, public comments that either of you would care to make. If not, I'll ask for an adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, and same to you. Hopefully.